According to Ayurveda, mind is a connection or a bridge between the spiritual person and the physical plane. So the person is doing all the activities, whether it is mental or physical, it has to be rooted through the mind, mental plane. And as and when the physical body is not connected with the external world, mind is completely withdrawn, just like what is happening in the deep sleep. So, according to the philosophies like Sankhya and all, the mind is an extension from the person to the physical plane, basically to the sense organs with which we get connected to the external world. So when we are doing each activities, whether it is a knowledgeable activity, whether it is a physical activity, all those activities are initiated through the thought process. And that thought process completely takes place in the plane of mind. So through mind only we are creating all the activities, whether it is a negative activity or whether it is a positive activity. The person is doing all activities through the thought process. The advantage of this knowledge is that when you have a activity which is creating a positive energy, usually we claim the responsibility for that because we have done it very thoughtfully, very reasonably, after having a deep thought process. I have done a right thing so that the right result is there. Same way, when you say there is a negative impact on you, for example, a disease happens due to various reasons, there also the causative atmosphere can be contributed by your own activities that also is initiated through the mind. Usually we don't take the responsibility for the disease, or rather we think that something outside you is responsible for the disease. But in fact, the atmosphere in the body is made conducive for manifesting a disease or a disorder. And that atmosphere is created through your own activities, and that also is initiated through your own mind. So as far as the mind is concerned, the normalcy is to be understood very clearly. Mind is single, and the only function the mind performs is the thought. You have only one mind, and its function is thought. So normally you must have one thought at a time, and once you finish the first thought, then only the second thought has to be initiated. Then the process is continued. So once you finish the first thought and goes into the second, you have a time to discriminate whether you need it or not, whether it is right or wrong. And discriminating that only, we go to the next thought, where we ensure that the thought is a right one, or rather it's not a wrong thought. With the discrimination or reasoning, we ensure that we create a right thought. Through that, you ensure a right activity. So in disease process and all, many occasions the thought process would be going wrong. Accordingly, you will be having an activity created in the physical body. For example, certain food items or a quantity of food, or maybe a wrong food habits you have been pursuing for a long time to create a disorder. In such occasions, your mind is basically responsible for getting addicted to that food habit, or rather you are not in a position to withdraw from that, and ultimately it ends up with a disorder in the body. So your basic requirement to heal that disease or strengthen the structure which is weakened by the disease process lies with your mind. Mind is corrected, mind is kept relaxed, mind is kept in the normal process, your thought process also will be more reasonable, you will be discriminating your own thought process, so that as much as possible a right mode is created in initiating all activities of your body. So whatever is needed to come out of a disease, certain diseases need only medicines, certain diseases need food habits to be totally changed, certain diseases are completely dependent upon the activity you are doing. All those things together work for the normalization of the body or relieving disease and strengthening the body back to the normal condition. So all those things are possible if your mind is kept in a very normal, relaxed process. So in all diseases, basically the mind is involved. Based on the involvement, percentage of involvement of the mind, we give importance to dealing with the mind also. Even for a headache, simple headache, the mind is directly involved. But in a headache like migraine and all, involvement of the mind is more serious, and that part also has to be uh, dealt with properly. So in all disease situations, good or bad, all changes are initiated through the mental plane only. So when mental plane is kept in a very healthy status, rather relaxed status, the process of curing the disease will be more easier done. When the mind is not kept in a comfortable status, it can complicate the healing process of any disease.